Part 5, Section 1, Chapter 7 of Short History of the Christian Church by John Fletcher Hurst. This recording is in the public domain. Chapter 7, The Providential Planting. When the American planting began, Europe was undergoing a complete transformation. The old conditions were breaking up, and a new departure was at hand. The English language had taken the place of the Norman French in England, and represented the popular drift towards larger political and religious liberty. In 1362 the English was ordered in the courts of English law. Wycliffe's tracts were in the newly liberated tongue, and gave the people their first taste of truth in a language dear to their hearts. Chaucer was the first poet to present in English verse the coming larger life of the Anglo-Saxon intellect. English and continental commerce was extended all over the face of the world. Caxton had made the printing press the possession of the Anglo-Saxon race. The people of England now first saw the industrial field opening before them. Agriculture showed signs of becoming what it was in republican Rome, the best of all manual employments. The eastern coast of England was learning from the Flemish weavers, who were now their guests, those lessons of manufacturing which to this day have made England a large producer for all lands. Protestants were conquering on the great fields of Germany, England, and Scandinavia. Even when they failed in liberty, their faith in final triumph failed not. The Puritans, burning with shame at the royal deception, looked westward to find their true home. When the colonies in America were planted, both from England and the continent, the people who constituted them arrived at the moment of European awakening. They brought the best aspirations of the Old World, and determined to realize them in the New. The hour of American colonization was the fittest one, in all modern times, for the New World to receive the best which the Old World had to give. The territorial distribution of the colonists was not less providential. The territorial successes of the Spanish Knights, and Jesuit fathers who accompanied them, were confined to a doubtful settlement in Florida, to the great province of New Spain, Mexico, and to a strip of the Pacific coast. The French Roman Catholic explorers and the Jesuit fathers were limited to Indian evangelization and an uncertain territory along the St. Lawrence, the northern chain of lakes, and the Mississippi Valley. The great English field of colonization lay between these two. It is the temperate belt of North America, the region which nature had fitted for the most aggressive mission in Western civilization. Spain's field has become more contracted as the centuries have passed. She now holds no foot of land on the North American continent. Louisiana passed from her hands into French possession, and in 1803 the French sold it to the United States. This purchase, made to fill the empty exchequer of Napoleon I, placed the Mississippi in the possession of the United States, and made the whole domain from that river to the Pacific a future certainty. The French bade fair to own all Canada. The ownership was at last reduced to the fortunes of one battle, that of Quebec in 1759. Here the English conquered. This culmination of a long and bitter series of wars between France and England made the English the possessors of that immense tract lying between the United States and the polar seas, and extending from the Atlantic to the Pacific. The war with Mexico, closing in 1848, gave the United States the great state of Texas, which covers an area of 275,000 square miles. The territory now protected by the flag of the United States is a rich inheritance. Every part of it is a witness to the providential guidance of our fathers to these shores, and a reminder of the obligation upon their posterity to mold our immigrant population into a righteous citizenship. God's ordering for America is seen as well in the type of men who made the nation. With some exceptions, they were the wheat of the Old World. Unlike many of our recent immigrants, They came to make here their permanent homes. They cut the last tie that bound them to the elder civilization, and entered heart and soul, for life and death, into the struggle of this new and rising land. Besides, they were religious men, swayed by righteous principles, who feared God and him only. They were men of intelligence, far-sighted, who had been trained in the rough discipline of an age that tried men's souls, and they were thus able to lay broad and deep the foundations of a republic whose cornerstones are freedom and law. End of chapter 7.